Hello everyone and welcome to the Refresh Step where you recover yourself for the main step. I'm your host for today, tomorrow and the foreseeable future, Theodore. And I'm with the hottest battle in the UK and admin of the Battle Spirits English Wiki, Ayumu Seiki.
Hello.
And we are not alone today as usual. Not as usual. This time we are not alone because we have another guest. So yeah, hello Cubia, can you introduce yourself for the audience?
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Cubia, and I'm a judge for most of the Bandai TCGs, which is also including Battle Spirits Saga.
Nice. So yeah,
Nice.
since you are from Austria, I think like profile-wise, the one thing that we probably need to get before we get deeper into the world of judging, were you rejected from an art school?
Actually, no. I was accepted.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness you were not rejected by the art school.
Art.
Close one, yes.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I used to also think about being an artist. So like, when like it was like you know how like when we're all small and then like you have as a dream jobs and everything like that. You know, like as usual, like as every child would be, the first dream is always going to be I want to be an astronaut. And then like I decided I don't want to do that, and then like I want to be an archaeologist. And then geography is too boring, so I'm not gonna do that. And then I became a weeb. So my next job, which I mean to be fair, is a lot more realistic, is actually trying to become an artist, an illustration artist, for light novels and things like that. And then so I started practicing kind of like anime style drawings for like 3 to 4 years, but it didn't go anywhere. So it's like, fuck this shit. If I can't draw for the light novel, I'll write for it instead. And that's what I'm here today, finishing my English degree.
Nice. So yeah, and like last time during the last Grand Open, you were the head judge finally. Like how does it feel to be a head judge?
I have been head judge before, but of course for Battle Spirits Saga it's a little bit more. I don't know. You're more on edge because there's so much money on the line. So, like as usual, every decision that you make has to be very thought through. You almost have to work perfectly, and you also have to make sure that your team is educated and briefed, so everything goes smoothly. And I think Den Haag mostly, for the most part, did. So it was with very little complications.
Yes.
And it was fun that we hit almost the same numbers as the first Grand Open. So we are consistent in Europe at least.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah, like too bad, like, cause like even though I've been staying in the UK, but I would hope actually that like all of the European tournaments to be held within Central Europe, because it does seem like a lot of people are struggling to get into the UK. So last time I think in Confronting we only had like 80 something people, 90 something people, and then I don't expect a lot for Glasgow this time as well.
I do hope it stays consistent around the 80-90ish mark, which they had last time for UK, because we have two different, like more better things. But one, we have the Pro Tour being in Europe, the next one, which gives people in Europe more incentive to go try to still get the invite. And second of all, the first event I heard was very secluded, very hard to get to the location, even if you were in UK. And this time they chose for Glasgow a more central, more easier to get there. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I'm very glad when I found kind of like when they announced the location, because it's literally only like 1 hour train away from my place.
Oh.
Yeah. So like it's a must go for me, basically.
Exactly.
So you can still try to give me try to win more Soul Cores then.
I can try, yeah. I don't mind. I just need one, so if I get another one, I'm selling it.
Nice.
Yes.
You're selling it, not gifting it? But yeah, I mean, like since basically all of us in this room has like the judge certification was, so we would also like to learn what what do you think is important to be a judge, especially I mean, like you already talk about like how in BSS it's kind of like there's a pressure that since there are money involved, there is this more pressure that everything is to run smoothly. But like in general, since you also judge for other games as well, like what do you think is important soft skill to have like for a judge?
I think a key difference to make for being a judge and just someone who is very, let's say, enthusiastic about rulings and getting into those discussions. Like for a judge, it's not just about knowing the rules. You also need to have very good, like, customer support. You have to be good with communicating with people and being you don't need to be super social, but you need to be how should I say it, confident in your rulings and to talk to people, to be loud and clear so everyone can hear you. And so if you just like talking about rulings and discussion, it's sometimes not thought as much that you also need to be very socially active, that you talk to the players and have fun at the event, because it's different than discussing like an online forums on Discord. It's different than being live at a game and the clock is running. So you have to make decisions at a reasonable time. Of course, you can give time extensions, but we all know if one table has 20-minute time extensions and everyone has to wait for one table, everyone will get on the edge. So
Yeah, that's the not the way
Yes.
to go. Yeah.
Yes, but of course, getting to know the rules is like one thing that most of us can agree is very fun, to get more in depth, get more about the details and how everything works. And it also helps you to, maybe if you're not that good at playing, but often people can also play well, that you understand certain strategies or certain combos that some other people wouldn't even know of because they don't know about the rules that well. That's why judges are so important for a community, because as you see on Facebook and Discord and everywhere, everyone is asking questions. Hey, judge, how does this work? Can I do this and that? And it's always good if you have people who understand it in a community to help everyone get more knowledge about it.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to like to not succumb under like kind of like, well, social pressure. Like that, I think that's the word. Like just because like, especially like under time situation, like you're really under a lot of pressure, but then like unfortunately there will be players who are technically wrong with their rulings, but like they would try to pressure you to agree with them, like peer pressure basically.
Yeah.
And so like so it's like important to like still like keep on with your own decision, like no matter if it's like actually right or wrong, like the same as like being like a judge like on a football match. Like at that moment, if you think it's right, like keep to that answer unless like someone else like brings out other kind of evidence.
What I do, like usually for every judge, but especially newer judges, which I recommend, is if they see a player is very disturbing and maybe not agreeing with the ruling, just give them the chance to tell them, hey, if you're not agreeing with the ruling, after of course you have given everything you know and everything, like you have to give the complete ruling and your decision, and then the player can of course decide they're not agreeing with it. If they're not agreeing with it, instead of arguing with them for a longer time, just tell them, hey, if you're not happy with the ruling or you maybe want to double check it with someone else, I can give you the chance to appeal it to the head judge, which for example the last event was me, and then the judge can go to the head judge, brief them on what's going on, maybe also tell them what ruling they gave, and then the head judge can go to the table and take over for you. So you just have to know what the procedures are, and if you feel pressured, don't succumb to it and give in like, maybe you're right. So if you're unsure, just go to your head judge. He's there for you and he will help you. Like judges are for the players and the head judge is there for the judges. Like that's a ladder, and That's all one working machine to help the event run smoothly.
Yeah, but like obviously before that, like if you can like do remember like kind of most of the rules like in the rule book, like I still can't do that in Saga yet, just because I haven't read it much enough. But like over the Japanese game, like if you ask me something, I could literally tell you, yes, this is his answer, and this is the question 122 from the other session, stuff like that. Yeah, but like it's good like to like always just like not like exactly, but like just like remember around which area on the comprehensive rules of like, where your answer comes from. So like if like the others want the proof of it, then like you can just like quickly get it up, and like it'll definitely like makes things a lot easier when like the other players like see that it is on the comprehensive rules than just like hearing you talk.
Exactly. Yeah, and with that, like, cause I just like Ayumu, I also like in the Japanese game, if you want to be a judge, you have to basically be a Bandai employee. Since there are no Bandai representative outside of Japan, so basically the community guys and the distributors kind of have to act on their behalf and be quote unquote the judge. And even so, because of that, my head is already full of the Japanese trollings. So when I am judging, the last time I was judging, I was glued to my tablet to make sure that I have the comprehensive ruling. But since you also judge for other games as well, right? Actively, like how do you manage this informations between the games?
Between the games, for like I judged 2 other Bandai games, which is Digimon One Piece. I haven't judged Dragon Ball so much, but for Digimon One Piece, you have a lot of similarities, and of course, every game has its uniqueness and own things. But luckily, it's most of them is from Bandai, so they follow a similar path on how stuff works. Of course, there's differences, but usually it's not that many that it's hard to remember them. But for Battle Spirits, it's a little bit more different because it's Bandai's own game, and it's part of the team for Battle Spirits Saga has been part of the Japanese Battle Spirits team. So maybe with Digimon and One Piece are like the newer games, and Battle Spirits is like decades old.
Yeah.
So they're more trying to fit the Battle Spirits Saga from the old Battle Spirits and get more inspiration from card games like Magic the Gathering, which has a similar audience target in comparison to One Piece Digimon, which is more IP focused, more fans, more collector stuff, and Battle Spirits like pure gameplay. But
yeah,
to remember all these things is just like you're learning a new language. You would just have to be active in it. Maybe in like as before in Discord, Facebook, answering questions, or even just reading the questions. And even if you're not confident enough to answer it, just read the questions and see if anyone else have answered it, and then check it for yourself if you would have answered the same. And if not, maybe look up where the answer from that person comes from. And if you can't find it, you can always ask them usually. But just be active is like the most thing. If you just learn the rules once to perfection and you're not using them for half a year, you will probably forget them. If you're judging other games,
and I think like just in general, like if you're actively just like reading other questions and answers, like more or less you would understand like kind of the others' thought process in like how did they come to this conclusion, like kind of what kind of logic are they using, like which rules they're applying, like even if you don't understand at first, but I think if you just keep reading them, like more or less like you will get the link in between so this is like the rule they're using, this is why they got to this conclusion, etc.
Like one very important thing, of course, for learning rules and learning a new TCG is, even if it's from a same company, but more especially if it's from a different, like for example, if you're coming from TCGs that not coming from Bandai, just start learning the rules as if you have never played a TCG, because it's more hurting you if you, like, for example, Battle Spirits players going into Battle Spirit Saga, not knowing maybe that there's differences, thinking it works the same, and then they make rulings, and then they realize, oh wait, it doesn't work the same. It's different. Why? And then they're getting confused, and then maybe they have harder time understanding if they were just trying to, hey, it's a new game, let's start from scratch. Let's start from the, even if it's exhausting to, like, for every mobile game, if you're always playing the tutorial and you think, oh, it's the same every time. Maybe there's a difference, and if you skip it, then later you're sitting there like, wait, how does it work? I can't remember. Why is it different? So best start from scratch, even if it's a little bit exhausting. But then you will see, oh, this is similar, this is different, and okay, this is how this works. From this TCG, it works differently. Okay.
I see. Oh yeah. And then now that we have established like how like Bandai is bringing Battle Spirit Saga to the West, like since I think like you, I mean like from my impression, like you are really invested into Digimon, but since Bandai Battle Spirit Saga itself is not tied to any IP, like what for you, what draws you into Battle Spirit Saga actually?
For me, for Battle Spirit Saga, the thing is, I heard from Battle Spirit Saga, like from the side, knowing there's a new TCG from Bandai coming in, because Bandai is throwing TCGs out like a machine gun.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Not so much as Pussy Road though.
Yeah,
and like,
okay, yeah, but for they didn't have that big of portfolio before. Now they're like one game here this year and next one this next year and so on.
Yeah.
But for me, Battle Spirit Saga became interesting. I looked into it, and then when they started the reveals, I got interested because I thought, okay, the cards still look nice. The system is interesting, especially because you have these cores, which are not cards. So you have less RNG in comparison to like Digimon and One Piece to security or life, whichever it's called.
Yep.
And then when I started playing, we had burst cards, we had flash, so you had some kind of interaction with your opponent during opponents and your turn. But then I just saw when set 1 released, or like shortly before, because we had all reveals and could test anything on Tabletop Simulator, for example, I was like, wow, damn, it's set 1 and it's already kind of complex already, and it's actually super fun. So that's what, like, just the gameplay is, in my opinion, the best gameplay in the current Bandai TCG lineup.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear, because like for us like for me and Ayumu, since we already see the bloodbath that is the Japanese Battle Spirits, like seeing how people really like how Battle Spirit Saga goes, like seeing like how people find it like really complex and fun, it's always feels very endearing for us.
I at the beginning I played a little bit of Battle Spirits just to see what the game is capable of. Like James showed me, I was asking, hey, is there maybe some Digimon deck kind of theme that I can play? And he gave me the Gabumon Bond of Friendship one. And then I played that, and he played a green one, I think, or something that just summons spirits en masse. That's all I remember. And I was like,
God.
yes, and I was like, damn, this is fun what I can do, like with Advent and then Burst Spirits and everything that's coming up. It was super fun to play, yes. So looking forward to what Battle Spirit Saga is going to include.
Yeah, I think like
that's
with
nice
the
to hear.
Well, like with the Pool of Battle Spirits, it's kind of like it comes with the how to say, like I feel like people come with the expectation that, hey, we have this all this interesting mechanics, they are going to bring this like next year, right? But it's like this mechanics takes like 15 years to introduce, right? So it's like, should we really introduce things that quickly?
Yeah. That's interesting from Saga comparison to Battle Spirits, because Battle Spirits has been there for long. They had to introduce new stuff at some point to keep people invested.
Yeah.
But as we see with Saga, they're going their own pace. Like they already included the Soul Core already and stuff like that. and also changing effects, changing how keywords work. Like for example, armor is different. It's I think also for Battle Spirits players, it's probably refreshing because it's different a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. God damn
Oh my
it.
goodness. It happens. Okay. So yeah, moving on from Battle Spirits for a little bit, let's talk about a more fun thing for a bit. Like, yeah, do you watch any anime this season? Just kind of, it's kind of like those kind of personality questions, right? I mean, like with the modern thing, like if we know that what you are watching, we can kind of like tell, oh, so deep down, like, oh, we know Cubia for who he is, and then okay, so on the inside he's like this. Turns out.
What season? I know is Mushoku Tensei. I think it's the second season.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I read the novel, so it's always fun to see it animated. And what else am I watching this season?
Did you finish the novel for Mushoku Tensei?
No, I haven't yet. When was it that I stopped? I can't remember. I stopped a few years back. I think last year, and then I wait a couple of months before like having one day of reading everything, or like 2 days or something like that. And what I'm also watching currently is the second season of Jujutsu Kaisen. So that's very interesting because I don't read the manga for whatever reason. I just watching the anime, and oh damn, Gojo. Oh.
Yeah, that man is very attractive.
Yeah, like personally, I don't like shonen anime, so like I like Jujutsu Kaisen. I only watched like the first episode of season 1, and then like with my friends as well. I didn't want to start it actually, and then literally, the first episode is like I can't remember already, but something like a grandpa in hospital, and then like the protagonist just goes, "I need to do good things." And then so I'm doing all these kind of shit that will make me die literally in any seconds. I was like, no.
Indeed.
Yeah, so
Standard.
I never continue it like after just like, watching the first episode with my friend, because like I just felt it's very generic. This podcast getting cancelled, isn't it?
Nah. If Trash is not cancelled, then there's no way people are going to cancel some people that are so small like us. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, like I see how deep you go. Especially since there's a little bit of a spoiler. Like last time when I was a judge, we were so me and Cubia were checking a certain someone's deck. Definitely not Ayumu, or it's probably Ayumu, but like Ayumu was storing his deck inside the Gura deck box, and then he was like, and then when you like said, oh, it's a Gura deck box, it's like, oh, I see.
I mean to be fair, Gura is like pretty famous by now. It's like how I would have heard of LeBron James, but I've never watched basketball. So
yeah. She's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, VTuber out there. Like even I
think she is the biggest one right now. Like she's over Kitana Ai even during her peak. It's like Ice peak. I mean, yeah. Because I think she's still she's the first one to reach 4 billion subscribers, but I'm not sure if anyone else has got to that amount as well, or like it's still only her right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I tried to look like for the top 10 most popular VTubers, and then number 1, of course, Gura.
I mean, she literally received a prize recently on like, I don't know, like a literal VTuber prize, and then like someone got flamed because apparently she commented, "Oh, now we're also giving awards to AI voices," and then people was like, "What the fuck?"
Oof.
Oof. My goodness. That
Never,
is,
never, never be the enemy of our fandom. Never.
yep. Don't. I mean, like even probably that person is only exposed to neuro, so probably that's why they thought like, oh, they are basically like they
Like,
have the same
no, I
product.
think they just like, you know, the kind of people who like, because like if you're cultured enough to be exposed to neuro, I don't think you will make that kind of comment. Like she's most likely just someone who doesn't watch anime or like or know any Japanese culture and just thinks it's all AI, especially with how recently AI art is coming. It's like literally shitting out loads.
Yeah. Nowadays, everything is AI to people. A robot cleaning your room, like the vacuum robot, oh, that's AI. Like, that's not AI.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's not at all. I mean, if my Roomba is an AI, it'll probably holding a knife to kill me already.
It's probably learning how your sleep schedule is, so it's preparing.
I mean, it has a
Yeah,
camera.
yeah, cause like actually my shopkeeper at my locals, he has a Roomba for his shop, and then he told me that his Roomba can actually remember kind of like the positioning of the room. Like it can remember like where the wall is, like where are the chairs and everything like. And it's like they can do that now, and it's like, yeah, I know, amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. But whether it is AI or not is whether it is using that data to do things that it was not supposed to do. I mean, like if it can find patterns, then it is AI. But if it's only like, okay, so I will remember this once and then I will just do what I am already programmed to do, and I will not process this data any further, then I don't think that's AI.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's probably not. It's probably not, to be
It's
fair.
not. It's not. It's not, but it's still a really how to say, outstanding tech. And yeah, I think like speaking about tech, like how deep in are you into tech actually? Like because I think like last time you also like what the other thing that impresses me like the time when we first met is like when you suggested like for tech checking we make some kind of software that when we place the cards, then we get then the camera will just detect like, okay, so there are this kind of common defects or whether basically like checking the deck list at least. So basically you put the pull the card on below the camera and then kind of records, okay, so there's this card, this card, this card, this card, and then it can basically how to say compare it to the list that the player submitted, and then they can we can know, okay, so turns out this player brings 5 netherworld depths instead of 4.
I'm currently studying software engineering, so that's just something that slipped to my mind. Like deck checks for TCGs has been mostly similar the past decade, years, and maybe a little bit different, maybe because you have to watch out for different things that came up for markings or whatever. But basically, it's the same. And I was like, maybe it's time that TCGs also get a little bit more automated, get stuff more efficient, especially because of BSS having 50 to 60 card main deck and 10 side deck. So it takes always quite a long time compared to like Digimon with just 50 card deck to check the deck. So trying to just minimize the waiting time, but we will see what is coming.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think TCG in general is a very underexplored kind of hobby. Just in general, like always like, and like I think we already passed its peak as well, because like you know, probably its peak time was like just around the 2000, you know, when Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, the big three, basically just like rising up, and then you know all the kids, like all the adults realize, oh, it's a new game to play and stuff like that. But like at this point, it's just like, I suppose in some sense, pretty oversaturated. Maybe not in the West, but certainly in Japan. And also, and like, I think normally it had a chance, it has a bigger chance to keep growing because like, like people are still playing the games and like people are making more TCGs and like it's still like a very fun collection to have. Just like storing figures, but then like what was it, like technology like mobile games, everything just like came in, and then like even if you're playing the so-called card games, like you would prefer to play online, like with Hearthstone and Shadowverse, because obviously it saves space, you can play everywhere, etc., stuff like that.
It's
And like
quick, it's
kind of like
short,
yeah, and like the physical side of TCG is just kind of left in the dirt now because people just don't, like, most people just don't want to invest into it, and because they don't do that, then companies would just go like, there's no point to like explore any more new things with it, then stuff like that. I mean, look, like I would diss Bushiroad whenever I can. I look at Bushiroad just shitting out all those card games, and like, how many do you even remember? Like, I tried Rebirth for You, and when I start playing, I was like, isn't this just Wise Words? Or more like a combination of Wise Words and Pokemon, which like Pokemon I don't think is a good game anyway. And so,
Oh,
not
well.
the TCG one. Not the TCG one. I don't like that at all. And so like I just like, I bought the Hololive starter deck, and then like it just left in my box forever since.
Yes. I mean, like, literally, if you know this title called Victory Spark, it's literally Rebirth for You, because before Rebirth for You is a thing. That's probably also why the game is called Rebirth for You, because that's literally the Rebirth version of Victory Spark.
Okay.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I literally never knew there was such a card game.
Yeah. Have you heard
Like,
of
even Rebirth for You right now? Like it's one of those that I can actually remember, but like it's still very obscure. Like even in Hong Kong, well, I don't know about Japan, but it's definitely very obscure in Hong Kong. Like I had a lot of people online just like once asked me, "Is it still alive?" And it's like, yeah. Just like you probably never heard of it though, stuff like that. Like even like I was very surprised that in Hong Kong, like, there were still people willing to like buy a whole carton, and they were just sitting there, just opening packs. I think at that point, at that moment, they were having a set on Usakochi. So basically, have you order a rabbit and that anime, and then like they will open packs. Oh, got all these cute cards. Oh, got an SPR. Oh. Yeah, stuff like that. It's very funny. And surprisingly, it actually has, I think it actually has a bigger player base in Taiwan. Because I visited Taipei, and like just like whichever card shop I went to, they would always have like one or two poster of like Rebirth for You on there. So I was plenty surprised about that. I suppose at the end it might just be like a kind of different target audience. I don't know.
True. I mean, like, speaking of obscure card games, have you guys heard about Zombie World Order?
No, I haven't.
No.
Yeah. So at one point, Bandai wanted to make a whole TCG with only zombies.
What?
Yes. It was real. I remember vividly it was released in English even.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now I'm googling it.
Yeah.
Bandai Zombie World Order special pack.
Yes. No, right.
I mean,
It
some
was
of the
wild.
cards look cool. I mean, arts in general are always cool, but then like this is such a weird theme.
Like their tagline is just zombies are coming from Japan.
Yeah. I guess I understand why Bandai decided to mostly stick with big IPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
This I don't know.
but like sometimes even they make it with big IPs, like, and most of them didn't actually work out. Like they had a card game with Gundam. I'm not sure if it's still continuing right now because I saw some people still playing it, but like I don't think it's continuing. And then before the current Digimon TCG, they had another one, and that one failed as well. So it's like one of the reasons why they actually endear Battle Spirit so much, because like it's like how like you gave birth to a lot of children and then like all of them died, and then like they're just this one child who just keep growing up for 15 years, like my dear child, like I will treasure you forever, that that kind of situation. And and so like we're all saying like in the Japanese community how like when Bandai decided to to like launch Digimon TCG and One Piece over at the West, and like, or even before that, Senonsad. Like Senonsad, I think we like most of the thing they made the game to kind of test water, cause like the game rules are literally the same as Battle Spirits, just like dumbed down quite a bit because it's online, and then and then like it was fun. I tried it a bit. Like I quite like it actually. And then like we were saying, like they must be testing it, like to see if like Battle Spirits actually works on mobile. I mean, obviously it didn't at the end. And then like and then like shortly after that they released like a Switch version of like Battle Spirits. Like you like kind of your moves, your plans are very obvious, and then they released it on TCG and like One Piece in the West, and then suddenly they tell you, "Oh, we got Battlefield Saga," and we're like, "I see, you are still testing waters."
Even after all these years.
That's a weird thing about Saga though. Like they have a lot of stuff that they could have just copy pasted from the other TCGs, but they actively chose not to. One example, because it's not directly from the Japanese side of the company, because they maybe outsourced it. But for example, the tournament rules are like completely different from the other TCGs, which I found and still find weird, because the other TCG TRMs have been working very well and are well documented and detailed. And even still, with BSS, the TRM is lacking, which is something I found very weird. They have been doing all the testing for all these years, and then they bring it out, and then they chose, we do it differently.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
But like in what sense are they different? Because like for me, Saga is like my first competitive card game. So like I actually don't know any rules from the other card game except for Pokemon, which like they have rotation, they have best of 3, but like that's it.
Yeah, and what I heard, because I never played Pokemon, but what I heard from other players when the first version of BSS TRM came out, they said it looks suspiciously very similar to an old Pokemon tournament rules manual. That's what TRM is, tournament rules manual, for anyone not knowing. And the difference now with, for example, Digimon Pace Dragon Ball is like the penalty section, which infraction gets which penalty. As for BSS, there's no examples. And they're not divided into different sections, because in Battle Spirit Saga you have like gameplay error minor, gameplay error major, which in Digimon One Piece Dragon Ball you have in these, which they consider gameplay error minor. You have different things listed, like for example, looking at unnecessary cards. If you maybe flipped accidentally a different card, or have a section about you drawing one extra card. Maybe an effect says draw 2, but you accidentally draw 3. Or you forgot to resolve an effect that is mandatory. All that is different, has examples on how to fix them. That's one important thing, how they suggest you fix these situations. And Battle Spirit Saga just has gameplay error minor, for example, then lists drawing too many cards, forgetting effects, and then penalty is warning, and that's it. And you have no written down how to fix it. So the problem which I feared in the beginning was when you call a judge,
Mm-mm.
the ruling and the fix they give you, depending on how well they were briefed by the head judge, may differ depending if they are coming from Vanguard, coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, coming from Digimon.
Mm-mm. Ah.
So Digimon
I
One
see.
Piece has like a very, very detailed part, and Battle Spirit just doesn't. So that's one thing. Like, you have this in your other games, which is very detailed and works. Why not just copy paste it like you did it for the last 2 games? It works. Use it. And they're like, nah, it's fine. We tried
My
different. Let's see
goodness.
what happens. So yeah,
Exactly.
Interesting.
yes. But for
Yeah,
example,
'cause
what
I suppose they never actually thought about that as well, just because how it feels sad in the also in the Japanese side, like basically outside of Japan, like all the rules are dependent on like players instead of like actual judges. So I guess they were also like used to just having the players decide between themselves, like death penalty, no, just a warning, okay, you know the stuff.
yeah, that's one interesting about BS JP, let's call it, or Asia, and Saga, is that JP one, when I tried to look into it just to see how stuff works in the JP version, same with like how they try to run Digimon and the other games, is like just Q&A documents or the wiki. Like you don't have like really a comprehensive rules document. You have like the rule book document with most of the basics. Then I think the last 2 pages are like Q&A sections, answering
Yeah.
Q&A questions, yeah. And the rest is look up in the wiki what was ever answered. Because for the other games, which we like to do, because Digimon, for example, also doesn't have a comprehensive rules, is ask the email, send an email to global Cardass info. For people not knowing, Cardass is usually the company handling Bandai's TCGs. So yeah, just send emails.
We have that in Japanese.
Yeah, exactly.
Prospects as well. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
but
fine.
like even that is not very reliable, just because like it seems that whoever's answering those questions like aren't actually how to say, like they basically most, like a lot of them don't seem to actually play the game, and more like they're really just like judging anything through the rule books that they've learned. So like we had a few moments where so like because like someone asked this one question and then their reply is, oh, so you do it in A, and then so like for like months we've been doing the same way, but then like and then like and then like something like they release a new card and like somehow they have contradicting rulings, and then we ask again, so what is the actual ruling? And then like Bandai's like, oh sorry, it should be B. And it's like
That's the thing with the Cardass. It's probably just some customer support having like the document whichever they can refer. So to get the real answer to a question is to either get a different card with a similar interaction, then ask them in a week or a month later to see if it stays the same. And if not, if it's the same, then it's usually good. But if it's not the same, you can be like, if this works this and the other card works like that, what's the difference? And then they usually like, wait, we actually have to ask the developers. And then they actually forward it to the developers, and developers say, yeah, no, do it like B, for example.
Yeah,
you have to really get behind it. But usually what they answer is sufficient for like first, like at least getting some answers, and then you just have to get behind it and see if it stays this way. But luckily and hopefully they won't do the same for Battle Spirit Saga. What they did in Digimon was we had the nationals and then the world championship, and everything was fine. Then a month later we had a ruling because of a new card coming up, and then we answered because a player sent an email and got an answer which contradicted everything we knew until then. Then we follow up and they're like, oh yeah, we changed that ruling approximately 6 months ago. We just didn't tell you. And we were like, what? Luckily, it was a ruling that wasn't really affecting like nationals and worlds, but it could have. But luckily, the interaction wasn't very meta relevant. So nothing.
my
But it's
God.
like having developers being like, yeah, we changed the rules, we just forgot or just didn't think about telling you. Is I'm not hoping it happens in Saga.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't.
Wait, but like actually didn't it like kind of already happen? I haven't followed that Twitter that well, but like didn't recently like they updated the set 2 Q&As and then like most of us just didn't seem to know about it until Lai just like went up and said, hey, they changed Castle. Well, Castle Keep is like it's an exception because they did send an email about that. But like I think they also updated like the keyword rulings and stuff like that. But like we just didn't hear about it somehow.
Yeah, the thing is that it's just they're not telling us that they're updating stuff, but usually it's the ruling that we like at least a portion of the ruling enthusiastic community expected, and they're just updating it to fix. For example, I think they have updated the Q&A for like Castle Keep, for example, with 2 more entries, which I submitted to them for check, and they said it's fine the way I have written it and it is correct. And luckily they edited it because there were still some confusions about the Giant Wood Castle Keep interactions. So, but yeah, luckily for now it's just they're not announcing that they've updated stuff. But luckily so far they haven't changed a ruling yet.
Okay, no, that's fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope like hopefully like on the Saga official website like they will like actually release kind of a log page or like whatever they updating because we do get that in the Japanese one, and like they actually update that whenever they change, well, not just ruling but like update ruling or like just change a few words or like add a new question or add a new question to it, and they will say, hey, like this card question number 6 is updated, oh this one added question number 7, stuff like that.
They
Actually
do have
they do that.
They
I
do
think
have
they
that
do
for
that.
the events. They have it for events, like when they update information for events. But for
Actually,
rules,
no, actually now just after I said that, I'm on the official website right now, and literally the first post says September 1st, 2023, rule Q&A has been updated.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't tell us which part is updated. That's the thing.
yeah. That's something they could also do, like they do for the other games. It's like either highlighting them in different colors, so you or maybe even just write the word new behind the entry, so okay, that has been updated.
Oh yeah,
that would be
true,
really
true.
helpful.
Yeah, I know Wisewatch does that. Yeah.
Yeah, because what I do is just download all of them, and if something is changing, I use the internet to compare documents, and then I see, okay, that's what they're changing.
Oh my god, that's so much work. It's like find the difference.
Yes, it's a lot of work, but for like most TCGs, you need the work of the community. Otherwise, most TCGs wouldn't be as fun and entertaining, and you need a strong community of players.
That is very fair. That is very fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Like JPBS has like the insane people doing the wiki and everything, like updating every.
Hello, you're talking to him right now.
Yes, exactly. Adding all the new ruling questions and answers, and you need people who are not getting paid for it to do it just out of passion.
I do wish I'm getting paid for that.
But should we really be comfortable with the corporations exploiting these people like Ayumu, who is willing to sacrifice his sleep to download every single card in the website and translating them one by hand? Maybe.
That's also something that it's going to be very interesting for Saga. Because Saga is still made, I think, from a Japanese development team mostly. They probably get influences and feedback from others, but I think it's still mostly Japanese based, and the sources, everything in original is all Japanese. So hoping that everything goes well translation wise, because it's not just Bandai, it's most companies, but especially Bandai's in the recent time hasn't been crowned best translators.
Yeah,
because-
definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's something I never understand. Like if us players could translate better than like the people you hired, what are you even doing?
Yeah, exactly. But the problem with BSS is we will never know because we can't see the Japanese. Like at least most of the majority of
So
the
we can't see the
community
working
can't.
system behind. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like what I try to do is get my way in there, that I maybe get permission someday
Oh,
to see
yeah.
it. But the moment we will know something is mistranslated, when a card comes out with the same wording but is ruled differently. That's what I think that happened for DBS, for example, that a card with similar or same wording comes out. Then the Q&A has it completely different. And then it was revealed that, oh yeah, the other card and this card, they're actually mistranslated. They're, for example, they're missing a may, so it's not mandatory. And people like, that's a huge difference. But like the word may, or if something is optional, is one of the most things that gets mistranslated.
Yeah, and I think it's also gonna be so much more pain with Saga in that, because I'm not sure about Digimon and One Piece, but like Saga, like, kind of following the footsteps of the Japanese game, does seem to be very reliant on wordings. So like literally like changing even one word could like make the whole effect function in a different way. So like hopefully they can improve that soon, because if not, it would just cause a lot of disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope, because it's their baby, like the precious child, that they're doing their best to keep the quality up for that. We got one, except for the one in the judge Discord, we got one errata officially, I think. What was it? Was it Dragon King? Was it Dragon King? Because it wasn't a different effect. It was just English grammar was not
Oh
the
no,
best.
that was what was it? Starblade Dragon.
Was it Starblade? Yeah.
Because the printed version now, it says, you may draw a card.
Yeah, exactly. You may draw a card. Yeah.
Oh.
yeah. But like the printed version says you may draw a card.
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
My God.
So,
It was very funny how they didn't realize it, but
yeah, it happens. But hopefully, it's just like these minor stuff. Like that's completely fine. But for example, if it's an errata of being you may draw a card into you draw a card, that's different. That makes a difference, especially when it comes to stuff like deck out or anything.
Oh,
Just,
yeah, true. Yeah. Mandatory and optional, like these two are like kind of the most crucial differences for card game, really.
especially for when summoning.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. It's like, yeah, like I could especially feel the importance right now because of like how many kind of not just bursts, but like kind of reactions in general they have in the Japanese game right now. So like it's only around 2 or 3 years ago, or maybe even not even that long ago, that like they start giving optional effects for basically all the cards, because like there are too many reactions right now that you can't afford to just play one card and then like someone can like your opponent can literally say, aha, you activate summon effect and your turn out.
Yeah, it's like a whole one effect or one thing can make a entire reaction of effects going off. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
What?
Yeah.
Did you just say resolve when summoned? Let's go. You're just going to sit there and watch me play 15 minutes. No, luckily it isn't that point yet. But
not that point yet. No, it's not Yu-Gi-Oh yet.
My God.
I mean, it happens in some cases, but at least not consistently, thankfully.
Yeah. Yes, like let's go back to like the more how to say, like the soft things discussion again, like especially since now you have been head judge in several games. Like from you, like the transition between, okay, so I'm a player and then to a judge, and then now I feel ready to be a head judge. Like, how was it for you? Like, at what point of time, at what point of time do you feel like, okay, so I've been judging for this amount of time, or I've been judging for a lot, I've been learning a lot, and then, okay, so I feel ready to be a head judge. Like, how does the process goes for you?
I was lucky enough to have like good mentors that was head judging before and for me for events. So one of them is like Krishi, who is currently doing the TO stuff for Rate and Trade. And then back in the days for Digimon, it was Yu Daime, who was head judging a lot. And these people guided me into it, usually judging and see how I perform and giving me feedback on it. And I, of course, try to improve where I can and take their feedback, because they're usually people who are head judging have more experience. So they usually know what they're talking about. And then they saw I'm improving, and they're like, because if you have an event of a certain size, you also have a head judge, but you also have a assistant head judge. That's usually when the head judge is currently not available, maybe because they're having a break, like taking their 30 minutes to eat something, or they're currently investigating something different, so they don't have time. Then the assistant head judge is like acting as head judge for the other situations, which is needing help. And then when they realize, okay, he's doing good, maybe let's try make him the assistant head judge. As assistant head judge, it depends what they tell you to do. Maybe they give you tasks like, hey, you organize the breaks for everyone, or you announce the tasks for everyone for every round, tell them what to do. Or even they maybe be soft, be like, okay, you're assistant head judge, do your judging stuff, and then when I'm busy, you take over. It's just these small steps which I got in early, like being assistant head judge for them. And then by the time taking over more responsibility, seeing the difference, because as a judge, you're used to being at the tables, answering ruling questions, helping players. And the difference from that to head judge is, as a head judge, you are not always interacting directly with players. You're more there for your judges. So judges are here for helping players, and you as a head judge are helping your judges. You're giving them feedback. You, if they have a question and they'll be like, oh, I've got this question from a player about this interaction. I'm not 100% sure. Can you maybe help out with this? And you're like, yeah. Maybe they tell you your rule at their rulings, and you're like, yeah, that's correct. Or you're, oh no, you forgot this and this. And like, oh yeah, you're right. It completely slipped my mind. So you're helping them. And then of course, if they get appealed, you are here to give the, like with the judge in courtroom, the hammer with the final ruling, and make sure everything goes smooth. And then, which does come up at TCGs, unfortunately, is if there is an accusation of someone intentionally breaking the rules. So in short term, which most people refer to cheating. And that's one of the most nerve-wracking and taxing task of a head judge, in my opinion, because it's...
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, because often it's situation player A and player B says, and then you're like, okay, you're now like a detective Pikachu and have to find the truth and see who is lying. And it's hard because, especially with the cheating involved, it could mean someone is DQ'd and potentially banned from playing the game for a while. So you have to make very sure that what you're investigating is thorough and detailed, and that you're... But if you have all the sources you need, you have to be confident in that. If you have enough that you're like, okay, I'm like 99.9% sure, you have to go through it, even if it hurts needing to reducing the community. But you also have to keep in mind you helping to try the environment for everyone else fair and healthy. So the step from, like, if you're a judge, it's very exciting the first time, like, oh, you're getting questions and you want to make everything right. But once you get used to it, you're like having fun, helping players, then maybe in your spare time, if you have some talk with people, or because it's often, especially if it's on offline, like in person, you can talk to people, talk about the deck choices, how the day have been, and it's super fun. But then you're getting used to it. Yeah. And then you, as a judge, you don't have as many responsibilities as a head judge. Head judge is like in your corporate world, you are the leader of your team. If something goes wrong, it's not the judge's fault, but it's the head judge's fault. So he takes the blame. He has to make sure everyone is on the same page. And if something is going wrong, then it's usually because the head judge didn't brief everyone well enough, or maybe wasn't that aware of what's actually going on. Because what I often see head judges is doing is we have a stage usually where the TO sits. You guys saw it. And then I see head judges sitting there all day, not interacting with any players, not going through the table, seeing what's going on, and just waiting for judges to come to them. And that's something I don't like. Like sometimes you can sit out there, okay, that's sure, especially in the middle of the tournament where it's quiet, nothing is so important because it's still a lot of rounds going on and the early rounds are over, so people who wanted to drop already dropped and stuff like that. But what I like to do is like go in there, see what are people playing, maybe stand a little bit behind one of the judges when they get a call, see what questions are actually asked. Like what's like, for example, if you see, okay, there's a lot of giant wood castle keep questions coming up, then you make sure, okay, judges, hopefully, if not, they've done it before, at least then say, okay, hopefully we're all on the same page, this is how it should be ruled. And then if someone says, oh, sorry, I have ruled it differently, then of course you, as a head judge, don't punish them. You be like, okay, it happens. And then you try to fix it. Maybe make an announcement or just inform the players and see what can be done. So as a judge, you are like the little ant working, and the head judge, you are just the leader. Yeah, the ant queen.
Exactly.
And Rain, the ant queen, and you have to make sure everyone is happy and everything is going smoothly.
So like, what made you decide that you want to be a judge in this game instead of like being a player?
That's a really interesting question in my situation, because I don't know if I've told you already, but for example, I'm known for my yellow deck building. In my community at least, and testing it a lot and doing well with it. And everyone is asking me, why are you judging? Why are you not playing? You could probably make at least top 32. And I'm like, you're actually right. Why I'm not playing? Like, I do enjoy the game a lot. I also enjoy judging a lot, but this is one of the games I'm like, I'm not doing all for money, but let's be fair. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Yes.
and I enjoy judging and playing, and I was like, and I'm currently in a situation, especially when we don't have, like, for example, the European Pro Tour, and like maybe I should play judge the seasons where we had the American Pro Tours and play the European ones, because I'm currently in a situation where I a little bit regret not playing Den Haag, because my only chance now would be playing Glasgow, which would be flying over to UK, which of course involves paying for it and everything. And it's also on the same weekend as my Shadowverse regional qualifiers, which I qualified by winning my shop qualifiers. So,
oh my god!
But yeah, so I'm currently in a weird situation.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh god, no, it's just this weird situation where, like, I wish I would have played Den Haag.
Yeah. Super. It happens.
I suppose in some sense also makes sense, since like you did say earlier that you are also kind of competing in Flesh and Blood. So I guess in some ways, like, even you haven't realized it yourself, like it might be a bit too straining to try to be competitive in like 2 games.
Yeah.
But like you said you would like to judge in the US events, but wouldn't that take money as well? Because I heard that
not in the US events, but during the US Pro Tour seasons.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
this
okay,
can-
okay. No, I
yeah,
get
yeah,
it. I get it now.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Where like I don't have that much benefit outside from the money
Mm-hmm.
playing Grand Opens when the Pro Tour is in America.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But currently, the next Grand Open is in mid of October in Utrecht, the
Mm-hmm.
European Pro Tour, and you need an invite from the Grand Opens. And I don't have an invite, so
Oh well.
I can be lucky that I may be able to judge Pro Tour because it's judging is still a privilege. It's like not because you are level 1 in a certain card game, you can say you can demand to judge events. It's a privilege if a TO trusts you and chooses you. So
Yeah.
I'm not taking it for granted, but I kind of wish I had the invite to play it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think like among the course of this 1 hour, the both of us has learned a lot from you, especially as a judge. So I guess before we kind of end this session, like there is always this important question since we are if you see the channel banner for the time gaming, we are kind of like we kind of explore TCG lifestyle as well. So like since you are openly an Austrian, how is there any food in Austria that you would recommend to people when they are visiting? Like if, for example, like the next Grand Open will be in Austria.
If there was a Grand Open in Austria, which food
do you will? Yes, exactly.
Doesn't matter if there's a Grand Open or not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or we can just come to play in the store championship or something.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, true. I could make offline one at some point. If we have enough players, I'm still trying to increase the online event more competitive. But in regards to your question, I don't think there is particular like Austria is known for their like schnitzel and stuff like that. But what I would recommend is engaging in the well-known Austrian coffee lifestyle, like sitting in a coffee shop for like 1-2 hours, just drinking coffee with friends, ordering maybe a cake, and just relaxing, not feeling rushed. Because what I often see is people, for example, Starbucks, go out Starbucks and then go either work in their study or take a to go to get to their job or to school, or like rushing every time. And because I'm not born in Austria, I moved here for my wife, which I learned is like going in a coffee. It's normal for them to sit like almost an entire Sunday there, just speaking with friends, exchanging stories, and just relaxing and not feeling rushed. That's what I would recommend. Just drink coffee, enjoy your time with your fellow TCG friends there, and just relax.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be really nice. We'll be looking forward to having coffee with you one day.
I'm looking forward
in person. Yep. Yay. So yeah, guess if you guys have any further questions that we might be able to get Cubia to answer in the following days, or if you have any questions specifically to us, or if there are any contents that you want us to do, or if you want us to invite a certain person or something, you can always send your requests, your stories to our email at therefreshsteppodcast@gmail.com. So yeah, I guess that has been everything from us for this week. Thank you very much, Cubia, for joining us on this week. We hope that you, the listeners, will have a nice week going forward, and we'll see you all in the next turn. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.